Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk about my personal rework ideas for Lawbringer. He's one of the biggest dudes with some of the slowest, weakest heavies in the game. And Lawbringer's current state, it's obviously just defensive. He's a disruptor. His whole kit is based around his shove and his impale. And while it's not uncommon for a character to be based around a simple mechanic, Lawbringer does struggle in 1v1 situations, obviously, and this is where his main focus needs to be involving changes. As far as 4v4 goes, I would say he's relatively balanced. There's a few factors I would change, but for the most part, he does a good job disrupting opponents with his kit and feats, bombing them and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get into these rework options. So first off, I want to address a few mechanics in this kit that are lacking. First one, and probably the most obvious one, is his long arm. The long arm, in my opinion, is a pretty cool mechanic. It flips the opponent, obviously, and gives you a free side heavy. And while the mechanic's cool, it does lack a few things. First off, it's very slow. The only time you're going to actually hit an opponent with this move is after like a wall splat, which is basically useless except for team fights, or if they are trying to guard break you during that time. Any other time, they're either going to just dodge it, or you're going to have a better option than the long arm at that point. And the long arm also only gets you a guaranteed 30 damage with a shove follow afterwards. You really can't execute a good follow-up, and you can't even get a top heavy off of the long arm, only a side heavy, so you don't even get the stun. If the opponent is attacking you when you throw out the long arm as well, it just knocks you out of it, so there's not even the hyper armor on it. So it'd be nice if it had some hyper armor. That way you could trade with like a dash attack. There's a good Reddit thread about this. Lord Dim posted it about a week or two ago. It's got some good ideas as well. I'll link it in the comments if you guys haven't already seen it. But however, I do have a few clashing ideas. I do agree that a soft feint into the long arm is a good idea. Now the way I look at it, it's only going to be useful on your heavy finisher, and honestly that's a good mix-up. You see me do something similar from time to time, feigning the Ad Mortem into a long arm, but it's not a soft feint, and the time you need to actually feint it and go into the long arm right now gives the opponent time to dodge a second time. And if they do a dodge attack, it's just going to knock you out of the long arm anyways. So I think this would be a nice mix-up to throw in, a good trade option. The alternative change to long arm that I would make, without adding hyper armor to it, is a little bit more damage guaranteed afterwards. So, for example, I'm thinking something like Valkyrie's current sweep finisher. You used to sweep and then get a free 24 damage heavy and then get guard broken. And now it guarantees 35 damage and then it resets her combo, which I think is pretty nice. Now, what I think they should do, I think they should still include the soft feint, maybe get rid of the hyper armor. But yeah, I think that would be a great idea. Make it where the long arm gets a guaranteed damage. I would probably say like 40 damage. They don't even have to change the speed of it, don't have to add hyper armor, just a soft feint, and make it where it can do like 40 damage, instead of the normal 30. I don't think it's too unreasonable, considering his current damage on all his heavy starters is only 30, which is lower than most of the heroes in the game. And this would be on my alternative option for the long arm, just to give it a damage buff and give it the soft feint. I don't think it's too unreasonable. Next, I want to talk about his shove. His shove right now is very weird. It's one of the only bashes in the game that does not guarantee any damage. The only other one I can think of is Gladiator's Punch, but it at least blinds the enemy. Lawbringer gets an unblockable light currently after a successful shove, but sometimes it can be blocked if they're dodging at that time, and it can always be deflected, which is very frustrating. You don't ever want to really throw it out against assassins. It's pretty much always unsafe against an enemy that has good reflexes anyways, so I think that the shove from neutral should guarantee a light, with that light counting as a chain starter instead of like the second hit of the chain, which it currently is. It's currently listed as the second hit. The 15 damage I think is just fine. That's pretty standard. Centurion gets 15, Conqueror gets like 13, so I think 15 is fine. That being said, I do believe shove on block needs to be removed. If you watch any of my videos, you'll notice I do not use shove on block very much. It's not fun to use or to fight against. I completely support removing that option from the game, given that the shove does guarantee damage. Now, this being said, that's where we would come to a balancing issue. So, Lawbringer gets a guaranteed shove after any successful heavy. In that case, if left to get a guaranteed light, every heavy would guarantee 45 damage, which I agree would not be fun to fight and be a little bit broken. So here's what I think. The guaranteed light should only be off a neutral shove, not mid-combo. I think mid-combo, it could stay how it is, honestly. Makes for a good mix-up game, while also keeping the playstyle of Lawbringer variable for many players. I don't believe a shove needs any hyper armor if it guarantees damage, and that's what I would rework for his shove. Maybe add a little bit of speed as well to it, just make it 100 milliseconds faster, kind of like Centurion's kick, maybe even slightly faster. Honestly, that speed would probably be just fine. Now, as far as Lawbringer's actual moveset goes, I would add 2 new combo chains. First, I would add a heavy, heavy, heavy combo, so 3 heavies, and a light, light, heavy. Let me explain the first one. The heavy, heavy, heavy combo should be added because the only thing Lawbringer can do after a heavy currently is a light, assuming the heavy is blocked or dodged, of course. The second you see that second indicator, you know it's a light attack. And though it's kind of fast, it's always going to be a light attack. And this is the specific reason they need to add this chain. Otherwise, it's just going to get parried by anybody with good reflexes. The light heavy combo, I think, is great, just to add a little more speed to his combos, a little more variety. Currently, if you whiff a light, the opponent can just throw out an attack and usually cancel you out of your follow-up heavy. This change probably wouldn't be as impactful, but it would be a nice change, and to add a little more variety to his kit, just something nice to see. Now, probably debatably the weakest move in his kit alongside the long arm is going to be Lawbringer's zone attack. It's probably the worst zone in the game, right next to Shinobi's. It's garbage. There's a few scenarios where this is a useful move. If you use it from neutral, it will be parried a majority of the time. He can be guard broken out of the startup. It only does 25 damage when it lands. And even the parry punish version of this that has hyper armor is still not very viable. It doesn't have a big hit area. I'm pretty sure Kensei's side lights probably hit more area than Lawbringer's zone attack. So, a few changes I would make. 1, make it a little faster. Any kind of speed boost would be better than it is now. Maybe like a 500 millisecond zone. It doesn't need to be 400, like the Assassins or Kensei or nothing like that. And considering the stamina usage and the damage, I think that's fair. 2, make it immune to guard breaks during the duration, because it's annoying when you actually throw out a zone and you get guard broke in the beginning because he's taking his sweet time pulling that big axe around. 3, if it's his make way, the parry punish zone, I believe it should count as a chain starter, but without the ability to shove afterwards. So, for example, you're getting ganked by 3 people and you get a parry. The zone should at least hit the person you're targeting, and then let you chain into your second attack in the chain. That way you aren't constantly on defense after using this for anti-ganks. Because, honestly, you use that parry punish right now, you zone one person, and you have so much cooldown on that, you're just going to get guard broke or attack. It's frustrating. And honestly, I think that's all the zone needs. Just a small speed boost, and, maybe a chain ability off of it. I think that's it. I think it's pretty simple. That and the guard break changes on it. And as far as that goes, honestly, I don't think he needs much more changed. Maybe a change to his impale if I had to add anything else. Right now, his parry punish for getting a guaranteed impale, it's pretty strong in the damage department, and it does consume a lot of stamina. I would probably change that to 10 damage on the impale, because after that you're probably going to use your long arm to get that guaranteed 40 damage. So I think that'd be a good way to neutralize the impact from the parry punish on that. And that's for the most part my ideas for a rework, guys. Relatively simple. I'd love to hear your ideas as well. Leave a comment, let me know what else you would change. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and feel free to share this with your friends or whoever you think would like it, and wherever you think it could be noticed. You know, I'd love this idea to get out, you know, being a pretty small YouTuber. But any sharing's appreciated, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Get ready for an awesome montage. All right, see you guys later.